Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void series! This is a best of 3 between WayTeh and Matiz, here, starting on Galactic Process. In the bottom left side of the map, we have the Aquamarine Protoss player. It is WayTeh, hailing from Belarus. And in the top right side of the map, we have the blue Zerg player. It is Matiz, hailing from Poland. So 2 professional level, GM level players from the European ladder here in a best of 3, played in a tournament just a little bit ago. And look at this, Matiz used the extractor trick to get up above the supply count cap, but then an Overlord hatch, so you can't quite see the results at this point. Gateway first here out of WayTeh, here on the top of the ramp that leads up to his natural. I'm not quite sure about this strategy, just because there are debris and obstacles on the left side here. Zerg players can break down. They can break down this destructible. They can break down these rocks on the right side of their third of the Protoss player. I don't know. I kind of feel like you still need to wall off the ramp at the top of the ramp leading into your main. But I don't know. We'll see if that comes back to hurt WayTeh. Looks like a one-base opener here for Matiz, going extractor into a spawning pool. This is getting scouted. Okay, so not a one-base play. Matiz is trying to throw down that hatch, but this probe is being so annoying out of WayTeh. WayTeh running around in circles, does throw down a pylon eventually. Matiz so mad. Immediately heads on out to throw down his hatch here at the third base location. Again, shouldn't hurt him too much, but the delay on the hatch is the problem. So here's the thing. Zerg players, if you see this happening, just throw down that hatch. Throw down the second hatch immediately, wherever you can safely. I mean, the delay here is just enough to kill you at this point. I mean, look at this. The Nexus from WayTeh, the second Nexus is almost halfway complete. Matiz's natural is not even 10% done yet, and that just hurts. That really hurts the Zerg player and what he wants to do at this point. So he's getting speed. Speed is on the way for the Zerg. A Zealot on the way from WayTeh. Looks like to hold this front door. The Cybernetics core is not finished yet, so he says might as well use the gateway for something, and that something is going to be for a Zealot. Bam! Holding that line there. Did an Overlord die? Is that more extractor trick? More extractor trick out of Matiz. Getting temporarily above that supply cap level, which again, good trick. I'm not sure if you want to use it too much, but either way, a Stalker coming out of here from WayTeh. Second base for Matiz is about 60% complete. Nexus from WayTeh just now warping right on in here. A couple Lings do finally manage to knock down the pylon at the natural base location for Matiz, and he really should throw down a hatch there as soon as possible. Looks like he has enough minerals to do it. He's not actually sending any drones down at this point. Here it comes, a little bit late for Matiz, but he should be just fine. Stalker from WayTeh going to shoo away this Overlord that now gets onto the high ground, a safe location for him to hang out and just see exactly what is going on. Yeah, Protoss player, WayTeh cannot see that. Can't see it at all. 4 Slowlings coming up to the front door of WayTeh. See what is up. Going to get some shots off on the Cybernetics core. An Adept coming out to join the Stalker, and they're going to go ahead and shoo away those Speedlings. No problem whatsoever. Again, a good wall here. Again, I just worry about the debris. I worry about the destructible. I worry about the rocks. These are 3 ways that Lings could get inside, then they just flood up this ramp into the natural base, into the main base, and just ruin WayTeh's day. So third base is on the way. I'm just going to call this the natural here at the natural base location when all is said and done. And what's the tech path for Matiz? 3 minutes in. He doesn't have a Roach Warren. He doesn't have a lair coming up quite yet. He is going to be up 31. Nope, actually down 32 to 31 harvesters to his Protoss opponent. So it's not like he is particularly droning hard. Speedlings just getting murdered here. And the Overlord dies at the front door of WayTeh. Mothership core with 2 kills. Adept Sentry with 1 kill. Adept with 2 kills. Very efficient use there. Matiz not babysitting his Lings as well as it could be. And now he's in the dark. He does not know if an army's going to move out. He has no idea. A Sloverlord is making its way through the main base for Matiz. What WayTeh has been scouted inside the main. Didn't see much of anything. Should be able to scout this robotics facility based on the path the Overlord is flying here. Can he see it? Sees the pylon. Sees the... There it is. Does see the robo facility coming up. Knows exactly what is coming out here from the Protoss player. Is going to die, but sacrificing his life for the swarm is no big deal. Supply blocked, Matiz. Matiz, you cannot be supply blocked. If you sacrifice an Overlord into a base, you have to have an Overlord ready to go. Popping even before that one dies. So he's got 3 Overlords on the way, which is fine. He'll be alright, but man, even that small delay here at this level can really be problematic. Speedlings trying to get inside this base, but no. Zealot holding the line. Sentries warping in to defend against them. Lings decide to take their attack elsewhere. Matiz I don't know. He's having a hard time here. He is still not taking up. He does have a roach warren, though, so he's got some roaches coming in, which is fine. But immortal production has begun from WayTeh. And looks like this small zealot adept army with sentry pulls back a little bit to the natural base. The Lings decide not to pursue in that direction. So I'm just really surprised he's not trying to knock down these rocks at the third or the destructible. These Lings, I like that they have map control. I like they're running around and they're being active, but they're not doing much of anything else. I mean, they could be using their DPS on other things. Come in, knock down the destructible. Do it. Yeah, I'm going to knock down the destructible. Excellent. Okay, so good choice there by Matiz. Getting a lair, about a 5.5 minute lair. Seems a little bit late considering the lack of pressure that WayTeh has put on him. But still, Matiz should be just fine. It is 45 to 43 harvesters. Protoss has a bit of a lead, but it's 95 to 77 at total supply overall, which tells me that the Protoss army is not quite as big as the Zerg army at this moment. This is quite a bit of roaches. 15 roach versus 2 immortal, 3 stalker, and 7 adept. More and more roaches in production here, and you know what? I like this composition from WayTeh. Again, he's down in total supply, but 2 immortals in the back can really wreck your day as a roaching Zerg player. So we'll see how well this works out. Ling's trying to knock away at this front door. Again, a couple more of them ending up dead, but weakening the cybernetics core like 3%. He gave up on the destructible. He was doing very well, and I'm not sure why. A couple Lings here. Here it is. WayTeh going to knock down the destructible, leading into Matiz's area of the map. Ravagers, roaches, waiting for this. Throw down some corrosive biles, dude. There it is. Oh man, WayTeh getting hit by the corrosive bile, weakening some adepts, not actually killing anything, unfortunately, but decides to go ahead and leave the destructibles alone with 300 hit points remaining. That's not a good look. That is not a fantastic look at all. Robotics Bay on the way from WayTeh, possibly for Disruptor. That can be good against this Ravager Roach combination. Also, Colossus would not be bad. We've been seeing that quite a bit as of late, but it is Disruptor instead of Colossus. Corrosive Biles landing down, and there's the recall home. Yeah, WayTeh did not like how that looked. A lot of Lings came down, a lot of roaches, a lot of Ravagers. It's 128 to 112 total supply here. Disruptor count is currently 0. There's one on the way. Lings a little bit ahead of the rest of the army as they come down. Adept count for WayTeh pretty high. 19 adepts, 3 stalkers, 2 immortals, and 3 sentries is the composition here. I like the Ling Roach Ravager play. Spire on the way, Baneling Nest on the way. Matiz basically taking up as soon as the Protoss player left, which seems smart, and he's expanding to a 4th base here. Can he save this 4th? As WayTeh is making a beeline right for it. I think he was just checking. Did he see it? He sees it now. He's coming right on in here with the adepts. Adepts not that great against buildings, but when there are this many of them, buildings die quickly. Ah, Matiz doesn't even get a cancel there. Adepts coming on in, warping, canceling as they made their way inside the natural base up towards the main. They did end up canceling that and going back to the rest of the army and then recalling home. Boom. What was he worried about? WayTeh, what's wrong? What is wrong, WayTeh? Alright, I mean, I guess he'll be okay. That Spire could pose some problems. Not many stalkers in this composition. There are some sentries, but when you're this adept immortal heavy, mutas can really wreck your day. It's not like... Okay, so Matiz isn't saving up gas at this point. He has about 800 minerals and 200 gas, 161 out of 162 supply. But killing that 4th base, a big deal, and he's getting a 4th base of his own to that left side. So Ling's trying to do a bit of a sandwich here. Roaches or Ravagers. One roach gets caught inside force fields. Corrosive Bile being used on the force fields. Amazing play there. Purification Nova comes in, whiffs entirely and everything. The Lings want to kill these Disruptors, but good micro on the Disruptors, picking them up before they die. Oh, that way they can't die and cancel the Disruptor shot there. Interesting. Either way, the Immortals, again, doing a lot of work here on the remaining Ravagers and Roaches. Corrosive Biles are keeping them stuck. Corrosive Biles being used to take down force fields. I'm not sure if that was the right location to do them, though. 3 kills and 7 kills on these 2 Immortals. WayTeh is continuing to push on up, destroying everything that is left there in Matiz's army. 23 Roaches on the way, though. Plus 2 attack has completed from WayTeh on his army. No upgrades whatsoever on these Roaches for Matiz. And here comes the Zerg army. Roaches on top of everything, but Purification Nova whiffing, unfortunately, right there. And Disruptor is still alive. Time Warp being thrown down. Queen's trying to do what they can in the situation, but the Immortals are just absolutely wreaking havoc. 11 kills and 7 kills. Drones coming into fight as well. Additional Adepts warping into the front thanks to that Warp Prism mobility. And it looks very bad for the Zerg player here in game number 1. The natural base is under assault. Is WayTeh going to finish it off? And yes, he does finish it off. It is now 2 base, 2, 3 base. 108 to 71 total supply. More roaches. Banelings coming in here as well. Bad rally on that roach, and he does almost get picked off. Manages to escape with 6 hit points to his name, but the main base is under a large attack right now. A couple slow banelings, some lings, and some roaches. A final stand here from Matiz. Can he do this thing? No, it is not going to work out whatsoever. Some Ravagers coming in here as well. Corrosive Biles landing and getting a couple hits on the Adepts, but there's just not enough. Not enough here for Matiz whatsoever. 17 kills on that Immortal, 16 on that one. Broodlings coming in from destroyed buildings. The Roach Warren is gone. Matiz's main base is under complete assault right now. The lair, and that is it. Matiz leaves the game here in game number 1. WayTeh is victorious, and Protoss gets a victory again here in game number 1. So let's go ahead and move on into game number 2. It just came down to the great composition out of WayTeh. The Immortals, once again, 20 kills and 20 kills each on those guys. Stalkers, none of them died. Adepts, a lot of Adepts died, but they're pretty much cannon fodder in this composition anyway. And yeah, resources lost here are definitely going to favor. Yep, 13,000 to 6,000. Zerg player lost a lot more. So let's move into game number 2. Let's see if Matiz can even this thing up, or if it's going to be a 2-0 sweep for the Protoss. Going to be right back. Welcome back, StarCraft fans, to game 2 between WayTeh and Matiz here on New Gettysburg, the Ladder Edition. In the bottom left side of the map, we have the Aquamarine Protoss player, WayTeh, currently up 1-0 on his Zerg opponent. And in the bottom right side of the map, we have the blue Zerg player. It is Matiz, currently down 0-1 after losing game number 1 fairly handily, I would say. WayTeh had just had good compositions. Matiz relying a little bit too much on a roach when the opponent had Immortal, and that kind of seemed to be the end of it. All right, so can Matiz come back, or is this going to be a 2-0? A 2-0 from WayTeh against Matiz here in this best of 3 series. Stick with me, and we'll find the answer soon enough. Again, gateway on the low ground here from WayTeh. This is a huge ramp to wall off. I'm really worried about WayTeh and his ability to make this thing work. He's already over blocking off this natural attempt by Matiz. Ugh, Matiz is so annoyed. He's going extractor pool again, though. He's not going for hatch first play. Probe comes in to see what is going on here. Why? And then the drone goes out. Is the drone going to get this thing down before the probe comes back to block it? I don't know. WayTeh getting a full scout off, and instead, I mean, not instead, but choosing to not block this thing off. Bam, hatchery gets down for Matiz. WayTeh makes note of that and goes back home with the probe. So it's not entirely a one-base play. I'm not even sure if those are very viable for Zerg at all anymore. Legacy of the Void, one base, you start out with so many workers, it's just dead impossible to maintain and spend all your money off of just one hatchery. You got to get a second hatch somewhere, so might as well get an expansion, I suppose. Cybernetics core on the way from WayTeh, has 1 assimilator, should make the second one here in about the next 10 seconds or so. Let's see if we're going to get that out of our Protoss player. He has enough money for it. There's the Nexus, and then the second assimilator is right after that. As soon as he has the ability to throw it down. And no, Matiz actually might just one-gas this thing for a while. I'm kind of surprised by that one. Doesn't have that second gas quite yet. Cybernetics core is wrapping up. Pylon on the way here, too. Not going to get supply blocked anytime soon is our Protoss player. Matiz is actually supply blocked. Unfortunately for him, he's got an Overlord coming on in, but he's going to sit there. There we go. Now he's out. He is out of the supply block by 6 supply. That will change quickly because, again, Zerg has the ability to make units very fast and can lead to supply blocks if you're not very, very careful there. Second hatch pops up here for Matiz. Throwing down a third hatch. All right, 2.5 minute third from Matiz. Not worried about what's going to come out here. A single Adept coming out, checking for that natural base with a Sloverlord. Matiz does see that and feels very safe to throw down the third hatch. So maybe a little bit more careful, a little bit more confident, I would say, on this map is Matiz. Seems like his timings are a little bit more crisp here. He didn't get thrown off his game by having his natural blocked by a probe for a couple minutes, so that's always nice as a Zerg player. Speed coming in, couple lings on the way here too. Adept Sonic transferring on in, seeing a queen, seeing a couple lings, saying, you know what? That's not going to work out for me. I could probably scout, but I'm not going to get any kills. Just get, again, because queens and lings are a great combination against the adepts. The queens can kind of pin the adept, and there we are. Especially speedlings are so good at getting that surround, and surrounds on adepts are a death sentence. Robotic facility on the way for WayTeh here. Can Matiz learn from game number 1? Or is he going to still go for this Roach versus Immortal composition, which is just never a great idea at all? Speedlings moving on in to start to get inside WayTeh's natural base. The answer is no, as there's a Zealot holding the line. I mean, the Zealot can't hold this infinitely or indefinitely, but As soon as the Lings start to attack, the gateway will warp in some... actually, Warp Gate's not finished yet. This is a little bit interesting here. Adept comes home. Stalker comes right on in. Tries to shoot down these Lings. There we go. Chrono boosting out Warp Gate now. I need to get some units out here real fast. These Lings are annoying. But no, they do get shoot away by the Stalker after killing one of their number. Immediate immortal production. Immediate immortal production here out of WayTeh. Stalker killing another Slow Overlord, sneaking up along this left side. Lings trying to come in. Mothership Core overhead now. That's not going to happen, Lings. Not going to happen. Almost killed an Adept, though. That came out on the wrong side of the street there. Wrong side of the tracks. And it is a Roach Warren indeed coming in here for Matiz. So can he learn to maybe engage differently? Maybe make a few more Lings and a few fewer Roaches against this Stalker Immortal composition that WayTeh is going for. I suppose, I don't know, Adepts are good on Lings, but I still say that Lings are better against Adepts than they have any right to be, considering Adepts do extra damage versus light units. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you exactly why that is, but I just feel like Lings are not a bad answer to Adepts. As long as they're not a huge clump of Adepts, and they're just like 40 of them in a circle, and the Lings try to get us around, that's not going to happen. But against, you know, 5, 6, 10 Adepts that are kind of spread out, I feel like the Lings have a pretty good shot here. So here comes an Immortal Sentry play. This almost reminds me of Heart of the Swarm, this Immortal Sentry type build here. That was really good and really hard to stop for Zerg for quite a while. Ling does scout this push out from WayTeh, about a 5-minute push. Got Adepts. I like this kind of, I want to call it a turquoise color. Aquamarine turquoise-ish color, especially on the Adepts. Their capes look very turquoise to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is not the case, but anyway, coming along this little narrow path at the bottom is WayTeh with Sentries, with Stalkers, with Zealots, more and more Adepts coming on in, Lings on the way, Roaches, Queens. Yeah, I think there are more Lings here. Good surround here. Force fields are coming on up, but not enough. Not enough force fields. Corrosive Biles are landing and absolutely annihilating this army. Good Warp Prism Micro, making sure the Immortals at the back here. But look at all these Adepts getting absolutely murdered. The Roach count, the Queen count. Too high. Queens trying to take down that Warp Prism. Can't get too close to the front lines, unfortunately. Down already to 29 hit points, but good hold here by WayTeh. Just that little narrow thing is not a good place for a Zerg to be. And Immortal ends up with 6 kills to its name already. The initial engagement definitely went to Matiz, but WayTeh continuing to push in here with the Adepts. The Lings ready to rock, though. Lings, Roaches. 2 more Extractors coming in here at the same time. There's the cancel, and on the creep, very brave. Here is WayTeh. Lings getting that surround exactly where they want to be. The Immortal is wasting his attacks on those and does actually get saved at the last second by the Warp Prism. Queens, can they take down the Warp Prism? Yes, and forcing the warp in, and that is it, a GG from WayTeh. Oh, the Queens MVPs there, taking down that Warp Prism just as she was warping in another round of Adepts. I want to say she, but I think Warp Prisms are robots. Anyway, excellent, excellent hold there by Matiz. Again, I like the increased Ling count. Sure, a lot of Lings died, but that Immortal was not nearly as effective as it otherwise would have been. Roach is able to live a little bit longer, I would say. This Ravager with 5 kills is a Slayer. But yeah, fantastic hold there. Is 3 base to 2 base, bit of a 2 base all in there from WayTeh. He knew he was down. He knew he was down. 41 to 89 supply, 36 to 42 Harvesters. Tough to come back from that and tapped out in game number 2. So let's move to game number 3 here. See who can win this whole thing and go home with a best of 3 win against their opponent. Be back in 2 seconds. Welcome back, StarCraft fans, to game 3 between WayTeh and Matiz here on Frozen Temple. In the top left side of the map, we have the Aquamarine-ish Protoss player WayTeh from Belarus. And in the bottom right side of the map, we have the Zerg player who was down 0-1, who tied it up in the game number 2. It is Matiz. Alright, so this is for all of the marbles, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody's going to win this match and come out on top in this best of 3 PvZ. Again, my favorite matchup. A lot of people are with me on that. The last time I asked if anybody loved the PvZ, I got several responses from people who were super happy. Again, of the like 2,000 people who watched it, was maybe 10. But still, it made me feel good. Feel good to get some support for my love of this matchup. Somebody made the point, the reason maybe people like it is because there are no humans that were harmed in the playing of this game. It's all like robot aliens versus bugs, right? There are no Terran forces in this match anywhere. Anyway, Matiz is he going for, no, what's he doing here? Oh, what? Proxy hatch. Proxy hatch first opener here. The probe from WayTeh says, what is going on here? That is a late pool. If there's not a hatch somewhere, there has to be a hatch somewhere, but it's not here. It's not at the natural base location. Check the third WayTeh. And he's immediately saying, alarm bells going off in his head. Is it down here? Did Matiz get tired of my blocking shenanigans? No. No, it's not here. You know what? I think he got tired of the blocking shenanigans, but didn't do exactly what you thought he would. The proxy hatch from Matiz. Is it going to work, ladies and gentlemen? Double gas opening here from Matiz as well. What is this? And, oh, does get scouted out. Does get scouted out by the probe here from WayTeh. Heading down south. Does manage to find it here. Throwing up a pylon. Getting out of mothership core as soon as humanly possible to photon overcharge this thing to death. But this is going to finish. There's no way WayTeh can stop this from finishing. Canceling the Nexus. He needs more resources than he has. WayTeh makes a command decision there. And throwing down several pylons. Here at the hatchery, I'm not sure what that's all about. Well, what's Matiz going to do with this thing? Immediate Queen, I would have to recommend. Immediate Queen, possibly some Lings. Is this just making WayTeh panic? He's not doing... Okay, he is making a set of Zerglings here. A Zealot comes in to swipe away at this hatchery. There is actually an expansion hatch coming up from Matiz. So even if he loses this thing, is not, I don't think, in a terrible position. Another Zealot coming in. Cybernetics core is getting warp gate research. Ling's trying to deal with this Protoss Zealot and actually gets him down to about half of his health there. Does take a couple swipes there. More Lings coming in and finishing off. Pretty good micro by Matiz and only loses one Ling. Taking down that Zealot. Pretty good stuff. Mothership core comes up. Photon overcharge, the order of the day. And look at this. Photon overcharge absolutely rocking that thing. Doing 30 damage per shot. Weapon speed 0.71. Ling's trying to get in this front door, but WayTeh has walled it off. He's got a Zealot here and a probe, and the Zerglings are gonna all die. All of them are going to die. More Zerglings coming in here. Speed on the way. Queen not making a Queen here, which I'm very surprised about. I feel like a Queen would be very useful in dealing with this mothership core. Hatchery's down to about 400 hit points out of 1,500 here. It is 23 to 24 harvesters. So Matiz hasn't stopped making drones back home. He's just using this as a very quick Zergling production facility. And Adept is here now holding for WayTeh as well. So I'm not sure Lings are getting through. The Lings just decide to head on home. I don't know. Would I say this is a failed attack here by Matiz? Probably. Failed attempt. A drone comes out of this base as well. Not sure where it's going. I mean, any number of these bases would be interesting, but I think it's just heading home. And there it is. Ends up falling. Broodling's trying to kill one of these pylons. No. Nope. Photon overcharge. That pylon has 8 kills. Always funny to me. And that one has 2. Also photon overcharge earlier in this game. So it's a bit of a reset. It's 23 to 37 harvesters. Matiz looking good. And look at this. WayTeh still on one base. Still on one base. I almost feel like these pylons were a bit of an overcommittal from the Protoss player, but we'll have to see if that comes back to bite him or not. Bunch of Lings coming out here. A big push. A one base all-in from WayTeh. He's not expanding. He's coming in with the Stalkers, with the Adepts, with the Zealot immediately. 8 Lings in production. 2 Roaches in production. I'd almost throw down a Spine Crawler as well if you feel like you have the time. Lings trying to delay as best they can to allow these Roaches time to pop on in. There's that Spine Crawler. Ah, excellent. A little bit late. I feel like it's not going to be very useful here, but if these Lings can delay this attack, and the longer it's delayed, the better it is. Here for Matiz, a Warp Prism warping in additional Adepts. I think this is going to go WayTeh's way. That really helped to turn the tide. Lings trying to do what they can. Can this Spine Crawler finish only 50% complete here? Lings and Roaches. Queen ends up dying there. Lings dancing back and forth. I almost feel like they just need to commit at this point. You can't let that Spine Crawler die. The Spine Crawler is canceled. It is canceled. 6 Roaches on the way. I think Matiz is waiting for that one. WayTeh right here inside the natural mineral line. Roaches coming down from this main base, attacking from the natural as well. Can they do this? No, it's too many Adepts. It is too many Stalkers. The Warp Prism micro also incredible. Here out of WayTeh, the drones trying to fight this thing as well. Roaches trying to go against as many of these Stalkers as they can. Drones fighting in but taking extra damage from those Adepts. Again, the Warp Prism micro pretty darn fantastic here from WayTeh. Very impressive maneuvers, if I do say so myself. The Roaches are slowly getting whittled down. I know that the Stalkers are good against them. Adepts are not, though. More and more Roaches continue to fall. It's now 48 to 45 total supply. The natural hatchery looks like it's in trouble. Some lings trying to come out, but getting murdered. A queen pops out of the natural base as well and ends up getting killed. Or no, it does actually manage to survive. WayTeh deciding to leave it. Marching up here inside the main base. Matiz recognizes this is it. This is for all the marbles. He can't afford to lose it here, but these armies differences are just ginormous. I feel like no roaches. Actually, more roaches here than I thought. Out of Matiz, and the Warp Prism Micro keeping these wounded units alive. The mothership, was that the mothership core that died there in the air? I think it was. But WayTeh slowly, methodically, ploddingly making his way up through Matiz's main base. Roach count dwindling here, and that's it. A GG from Matiz. Matiz is defeated, and WayTeh is victorious here in game number 3. Wow, that was gutsy. That was gutsy out of WayTeh. Maybe he recognized he invested a little bit too much in these 3 pylons to stop this proxy hatch. Maybe he realized that he canceled his Nexus in panic a little bit prematurely. But he said, you know what? Instead of expanding, instead of turning this into a macro game, I'm going to push on up. I'm going to push right on up here and see what I can do against Matiz with this one base play. Bring along a War Prism and go gateway units the rest of the way. And you know what? It worked out. It worked out for him. Workers killed 22 to 1, 82 to 14. WayTeh only lost 14 units in that game. That's absolutely insane. Resources lost 1950 to 5,081 for the Zerg. Beautifully effective, great decision making, and WayTeh with the victory. So fantastic little series here. Some pretty short games, of best of 2 out of 3. Really what some people have wanted to see here are some of these short games, so I hope this worked out for you. I hope you were tricked by my use of my anti-spoiler buffer at the end of this cast here, because that's why I did it. I did it for that particular reason, to fool you into thinking this game was longer or the series was longer. But regardless, that's going to be it from me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void series. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself. Patrons! Nicholas Cheek, Sean Govin, Nick Riley, Josh Cornelius, Jin, Jeff Duvall, KN, Matt Meermans, Hagon Marcus, Backberty, Alex Coffey, Ben Raboyne, 19 Day, Keith Garlow, Alexandros Canaris, Complex, Ian Westbrook, Michael McIntosh, Sam Estegoy, Bober Set, Cale Anderson, Trevor Smith, Menhadin, GMP, Sip Kopata, Konma, Michael Wellen, Plaid, Henry Cooper, Clayton Knight, Jan Kodera, Kevin Shing, Rajiv Bhatt, The Cosmic Phoenix, Peter Hawes, Andre Breet, Mither. Thank you, Leak at the top right. Bye.